とそこにおるあの忍び。
そう。
よく来てくれた。久しいな、狼よ。狼、いやこれ。いや今、みあし。
行くぞ。
足の通り。
破れられる。
お、なれ。
はっ。ダメ。
その
手に勝ちこそいいだ。お前は行分正隆なり。鬼の首、まだ落ちておらぬぞ。 ねそれどしょこれはおう5個獅子
ありがとう。そう。はあ。
び間に合う。
この忍び。参る。
忍びよ、再び間に合おう。
まだだ。巫女の忍び。
おわそまとったお
できます。
不死だおこのあ
この
して 一心様は
ミコさん、おちよれしな、そうし、ミコさん。正義、不思議。
御人、そこの御人。
我が命その刀置いていけ。愚かなり。刃などこの甲冑には通じぬ。なぜそれを返さぬか。我が命その刀置いていけ。愚かなり。刃などこの甲冑には通じぬ。なぜそれを返さぬか。ロバート。
何を
ぬこ。
What's up, Crunchy? Welcome, my friend. Yes, I was waiting for that. No bots indeed. And you are a sexy viewer. I couldn't stand calling my viewers cheap anymore. Why does that keep happening now? That never used to happen. I'm alright, I'm a bit overslept, I think. So I was feeling a bit groggy, but I'm not too bad now. I woke up at like 4:30 or something and found it hard to get back to sleep. But then I did go back to sleep and then I woke up at like 8:30. I was like, oh shit, I'm late. Oversleeping. How are you doing? I also got hit on Genie because I was scared again. He's in my head, I don't know why. But that's the only reason I get hit to him, is because I'm worried about getting hit by him. All I gotta do is not be worried about getting hit by him and just chill, and I'll be fine. But, you know, I don't know why he's in my head. I think it's just because he can just squirm away from me, and I don't know what it is. He's the least sort of controllable boss, I find. But I think he's just in my head. I think that's all it is. Anyway, you done with classes for the day? Ooh, ah, ah. No worries. I was just asking how you were. And I got hit to Genie earlier, and saying how he's in my head at the moment. And it's just a mental thing. You done with classes for today? I guess. Yeah, I don't know what it is about him, but he was consistent, but then he started hitting me, and now he's in my head, and that just makes it worse. But I thought I would just continue and do a full run anyway, and then get to practice it all. Only one class. Oh, nice. Bonus time off. When do I end? I don't know. I've only been on for 40 minutes because I got up late, so so I'm not sure. Probably not for a while. I want to at least get a few runs attempted. Yeah. Even though I'm starting to have no hope that I'll get this done. Even though I was really close a few times in a row, I haven't felt close since then for like a while, so I feel that I'm getting worse at this rather than better. Yesterday I might have ended a bit early because I started earlier yesterday. Maybe. I think I was on pretty early yesterday. I might need a break, you're right, yeah. If it continues getting worse, I'll put it down for a bit, I'll play something else, I'll do something else on the stream, and then we can come back to it, you know? We'll see. Oop. Okay, messed that up. Yeah. I'm finding new ways to mess things up. I did, for Mortal Draw there, instead of LB and RB, or L1 and R1, I did LB and right trigger. And I did something weird similar on Roberto too. I don't know if it's because of oversleeping, but on Roberto, oh yeah, instead of buffering an attack, I buffered a dodge. It's just like, never done that before either. So it's like, I just don't know. At least it makes me feel a bit better about getting hit on Genie, because clearly my brain's not working that well today. And I think it's because I had a good climb yesterday, but I thought like a decent amount of sleep would help me out, but I think I overslept, and that's made me sluggish today. So there we are. And I'm just clearly not functioning properly. Making weird new mistakes like that I've never made before. Finding new ways to mess up the run is kind of incredible. Oh, I also noticed yesterday the stream was super choppy, like pretty much all the way through. So change settings again today, but it should be good today, I think. It should be smooth. It might have just been bad luck again, because I was waiting for that eventuality where, because of this weird OBS issue, that it would I would stream at some point and be unlucky with the timing and it'd just be stuttery for an hour. It was either that or the fact that I put the quality up to P7 again, which is max. I just wanted to compare it with P5 and P6. But what I've noticed is I don't notice any quality difference between them, and I think that's because you get a maximum bitrate for Twitch streaming, which limits the quality anyway. So it's like Twitch streaming bandwidth puts a limit on the quality, and then if you go over a certain quality in the quality settings for the encoding, it can't be higher quality, if you see what I mean, because the bottleneck is the bandwidth that Twitch allows you to stream at. So I'm back down to P5 now because it should look the same as P7 anyway, and it should mean that OBS does less weird stuff in the background, hopefully. So it should be silky smooth today. And it's funny because I was saying, oh, the utilization looks really high yesterday. Is it jerky? And I think Derman, maybe you as well, were like, no, it's smooth. I was like, okay. But then when I looked at the VOD, and I was listening to myself asking this question, I'm like, it's very jerky. What the hell? Do these people just not see it? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I mean, if you look closer, you have to see it. If you compare the VOD yesterday to today or whatever, you have to see it, surely. That was a style points takedown. Sorry, I'll read that in a second. I want to kill this girl. Kill this lady here. There it is. You had a great manga yesterday. It was about mountain climbing and our main character interacting with the people. Oh, that's nice. That sounds cool. Interacting with the people how? Like, making the world a better place sort of interacting, or just being a nice person? I got a special pair of eyes. Maybe, but I mean, I'm sure if I sat someone down and said, right, look at this screen, played them a choppy recording, played them a smooth recording, and say, do you notice the difference? I would be utterly shocked if they said no. You know what I mean? I would be like, do my eyes just work at a higher refresh rate or something? You didn't see the choppiness yesterday either. It was basically the entire stream. That's why I was amazed that no one commented on it, because it was terrible, like all the way through pretty much. Every time I just looked at a bit yesterday, I was just flicking through. I was like, yep, that's choppy, yep, that's choppy, yep, that's choppy. And it made sense because I was seeing high GPU utilization. And that's why I was asking, is it choppy? Because it looks like it should be based on what I'm seeing on the graph. However, today we're chilling at 35% the entire time again, so we should be good. It shows how selfish people are, and there were betrayals so many times that it was so sad. You should read it, you got the time. Name is The Climber. Okay, well I like climbing, so that's... maybe I'll check it out. Can you just access it online or something? Easily? Okay, I'll search for it. Nice. The Climber. Easy to remember that name because I'm a climber and I had a good climb yesterday. Not mountain climbing, rock climbing, but you know, they are related, kinda. But yeah, I met a really strong guy at climbing yesterday, and he was trying to send like some of the hardest boulder problems in the gym, and it's quite inspiring. I was like, got chatting to him and was you know, supporting him emotionally through the turmoil. No, he was doing well. He was improving each attempt and stuff, but he was climbing really hard stuff. That's quite inspiring. It's nice to meet like really strong climbers in a gym. I tend to gravitate towards them because they're like the more interesting climbers to meet and interact with, because they're really into it, you know. So that was cool, and then it makes you try harder stuff as well, because you see like, wait, what am I doing? You see them and their progress and their hype for what they're doing, and then you try stuff that you might otherwise not have because you just immediately think it's out of your reach or whatever. I mean, I just tried holding the hardest point on the route that he was trying to move from, and I held it for a second, which I was quite pleased about because it was kind of an insane position. But that sort of stuff, it's kind of cool. It's fun. So that was nice. Nice bonus from going climbing yesterday. You want to know about climbing as well? Manga fire, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a bouldering gym near you, just go, dude. Just go. The great thing about it is you can go by yourself. The first time I went, I was super nervous doing something like that by myself. Oh, I got it. That's twice in a row. But they tend to be super welcoming, you know, climbing gyms, and the people tend to be generally really cool and chill. And lots of people go on their own, you know, because it's an activity you can do on your own, or you can hang out with people and chat with people. You know, some people just go with earphones and they just kind of block everything else out and just focus on what they're doing and walk around the gym. And, you know, some people are more open to chatting and meeting people. So it's whatever mood you're in, really. And the great thing about it is you don't rely on anyone else for the activity. It's just you and the wall. All you need is shoes. But if you're a new climber, gyms tend to have like rental shoes you can just rent for a bit. And chalk. You don't even really need chalk, but a lot of gyms will have chalk as well. It's just you versus the wall, exactly. And then you just start on the easiest stuff. The gym will tell you what the easy routes are, although you can normally tell because they're massive holds and they look like a ladder. So, you know, you can easily go up and down it. You start there and then, you know, work your way up. And that's it. And then the most fun part is when you start trying harder stuff that's at your limit, because then you have to problem solve. Then you have to be like, that's when the technique comes into it, because you have to put your body in certain positions and move your body in certain ways, because if you don't, you just tire yourself out, or you make a move way harder than it would be if you used the right technique. And that's when chatting to other people comes in. And if some people around like me see someone doing something that they reckon they can do if they did it differently, might point out, hey, have you tried putting your right foot there instead of your left foot, for example, and then twist your hips in and reach over with your other arm, whatever. And then they try that and they go, oh wow, that's so much easier. And that's when the light bulb moment hits, and they're like, you know, that's when it gets interesting. That's why I like helping people in that way. Because then it's like revelatory. You're like, oh, I can do it. You know, what felt impossible initially, if I just do it slightly differently, now it's not only possible, I just did it. You know, I just did that move that I couldn't do before. So it's really fun. Yeah, you can relate about the excitement because of the climbing story. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I don't know, if you're in a big city in India, you'll no doubt have a bouldering gym near you. I think it's a pretty global thing now, you know? Ooh, I took falling damage. Keck. And then, you know, if you get chatting to people, you might meet some people that then you go again and you see them again, and then you've got climbing buddies, you know? And then you might just start going regularly, and etc, etc. Generally, people tend to be humble rather than egotistical at climbing gyms. And helpful rather than standoffish, you know? That's why I only go to bouldering gyms and would never go to a gym with like equipment, you know, where you're just doing a repetitive motion over and over for X amount of reps. A, that's really boring. B, it's not very social. C, most people go there for their ego to like look good or whatever, more than the activity itself. Like, and the joy for the sport sort of thing. So you get a totally different vibe in a normal gym. And where there are bouldering gyms, there's literally no reason to go to a normal gym, because when you're bouldering, the other part of it is you work out all your muscles, like all at once. So you don't need to worry about, oh, I forgot leg day, for example. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Because when you're climbing, you work out everything, like automatically. Even muscles you forgot you had. How fit am I? Not that fit, really, right now. But I'm getting. I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. I'm definitely not as strong as I used to be when I used to go regularly. But I'm trying to, you know, go regularly again. So. Getting there, you could say. Also, in general, like cardio fitness for like running and stuff, I'm trying to get back into that a little bit as well. And okay, that's a good aim while yapping as well. And straight off the bat, after not having run for quite a lot of years, many years, what did I do? I did like 2 7-kilometer runs, fairly comfortably. I definitely could have pushed myself to do a 10-kilometer run. But my stamina with running isn't great, so I can't like do like marathon running very easily because I just run out of energy. But it's something. Especially when I haven't been running and I'm not in running shape. Generally I feel like if I push myself I could do a 10k run if I really needed to, or if I really wanted to, without any training really. So gives you an idea of that sort of fitness. Climbing strength, yeah, I'm getting it back, and I sort of, over the winter I did keep up with sort of regular like pull-ups, push-ups and squats, you know, just half-hour workouts every couple of days just to keep up a bit of strength, that sort of thing. I think I got up to 16 pull-ups, full extension pull-ups in a row. 16's my record, which isn't amazing, but it's not bad either. Yeah, 7k is not, like, I was quite pleased that I could do that still fairly comfortably. Seems like a good baseline, you know. And today I thought about going for a run because it's a nice day, but I think I'll pump up my bike tires and go for a cycle for the first time since moving back here. Because I want to check out a park with a new sort of a tennis club in it, because I'm thinking about joining that tennis club and pick up a couple of bits from a shop instead of doing a run. Get the bike back in action. But yeah, check out, see if you've got a bouldering gym near you. That would be cool. Okay, mate. Thanks for the lurk, as always. I will be bonking Emma. And then doing a new run, probably. Maybe a bit of genie practice first. I forgot. There it is. You'll miss the bonking. Don't worry, there's plenty more bonking. There'll be plenty more bonking in the future. If I get hit by Ishin, I'll be doing this for a while, so. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, dude. Moment of indecision, I'm like... She's about to, I mean, she's about to stagger, maybe I can just parry this last one. And then I just froze and didn't do anything. But, I'm just gonna continue because I can't be bothered to do Emma again, there's no reason to. Emma does not need practice. Yes, she does. What am I saying? Of course she does. Emma has spoken. Right on cue. Love it. I'll just pop mute back on while nobody's here.
再び修羅をなろうとはな。
井戸底におるあの忍び。
よこそ。
狼傷を、いやこれその、いや今一心まみあその
すったね。よこそ。
足の剣よ舞い
その
お前さ何手に勝ちこそお前
国は行分正隆なり。行くぞ鬼影。鬼の首まだ落ち
まだ
ありがとう。
再び間に合おう。まだだ、この忍び。
を私とだを
できます。
不死をこの足
この
して一心様
みこ落ちるあのみこせ不思議
そこのご人
我が息子、その刀置いていけ。愚かなり。刃などその甲冑には通じぬ。なぜそれを返さぬか。我が息子、その刀置いていけ。愚かなり。我が息子、その刀置いていけ。愚かなり。刃などこの甲冑には通じぬ。なぜそれを返さぬか。 我が娘のためその刀置いていけ。愚かなり。
何抜く
抜こ
銭が
この質かす牙の
まだ埃がひどい。この書庫、いかほど締め切っておったのやら。
Yeah, you timed that perfectly, didn't you? Well done. Or rather, I timed that perfectly by getting hit to Roberto. Of all things. But, you know. One of those mornings. Uh-oh. Did I miss the buff? Nope. Did you have a good luck? How did you? Yeah, tragic. Well, that would have been more tragic if it was a run. Okay. Sure. Missed me. Yeah, all I had to do was get him off the edge. Probably, but it doesn't matter. All I had to do was get him off the edge the first, on the first round. And I somehow magically aimed at the pillar, even though to the left and right of the pillar would have been fine. One of those days. What you gonna do? Just bonk him some more, I guess. What else can you do? At least I got past Genie though, quite well. Just this time I was just like, just don't think about it. Just don't think. Just react, relax and react. That's the key to Genie, is not overthink it. Don't expect anything to happen. Just relax and react, basically. Yeah, bonking him is very therapeutic. Not gonna lie. Ooh, she almost slipped away. That hasn't happened for a while. Oh yeah, I should. Focus but without thinking. That's the key. Focus but don't think. Kind of applies to a lot of Sekiro, to be fair. Oh, Doshia. Can we not be here, please? Get wrecked, old man. Quick thrust of his. The quick thrust into the quick shove into the thrust that you can Mikiri counter. Yeah, that was one of the ones initially that took possibly the most amount of practice just to get the timing right, because it's slightly different timing to the quick slash. But once you get used to it, it's not too bad. It's just a slightly later deflect. And you just have to really be staring at him to see if he's gonna do the slash or the thrust. If he pauses after your last deflect, you know he's gonna do the thrust, and if he keeps the animation going, you know he's gonna do the slash sort of thing. You have to counter it. I mean, you've just got to time the deflect for the shove, and then the timing for the Mikiri counter after that's pretty simple. As long as you deflect the shove. If you don't deflect the shove, you can't Mikiri counter the follow-up, because you're already fucked, basically. What do we got? I guess let's just try one more, why not? See how far we get. Because if we do get through it, it'll be around midday at the end, so sure, why not? I probably won't get through it though. Given the sluggish morning, but we'll try. If I get when I get hit, I'll probably just end it there. try to have a decent sleep, not too long tonight, and be a bit fresher and earlier tomorrow. Sexy viewers believe in me. Nice. Yeah, the GPU utilization's all over the place today, which is a bit disconcerting because it should be more regular. Like when I started the stream in this area, it was 35, but now it's 75. I don't really know why. So to me, it looks like it's probably choppy, or has been at certain points of the stream, which is a bad sign because it wasn't doing this before. Yeah, I'll try not to. It's just interesting, like, with the graph up, seeing what it does. But it's been less regular of an up and down, so I don't know what's going on really. Yeah, based on the settings that I've got now, it should be the same as the previous two streams before yesterday, when it was stutter free. There were no stutters at all for like 4-hour streams, so that should be where we're at again. But if I start getting stutters again, I'm gonna make a big post on OBS project and really try to find some answers from the devs, because it's just clearly it needs work, the software, because clearly it can encode smoothly, but something causes it not to, and it's definitely OBS, even though they often blame other settings like Windows settings and stuff and say, oh, you shouldn't have this enabled, blah blah blah. But if you change those settings, it doesn't make a difference. Not to this regular stuttering weird thing. So they obviously need to be aware that their software needs work. Assuming they want to improve it, of course. I would if it was my software, you know. If it was my software, I'd be like, oh, that's a really interesting issue, and investigate it and recode it until it was resolved. If it was my, you know, if it was my baby, if it was my software project. Because what's the point of making software that's sort of a passion project and then not want to make it as good as it can be? It'd be a bit weird if they aren't interested in resolving it. Unless they're just not so interested anymore, and they can't be bothered, which is also fair enough. But you know, it would be useful to know that, because then we can start considering other software options. Fact of the matter is, though, it is OBS's problem, 100%. And at this stage, I'm really interested to know how interested the devs are at resolving it. Because if they're not interested in resolving it and they just kind of, you know, ignore requests to look into this issue, then that's useful to know for the future. like I say, that's when you start looking at other software. Or other setups, you know.
お前総裁はお前
何言う手に
かしこそいいどれ
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
お前
And sadly, this was first reported to them 2 years ago, so it's not looking good for them, really. The fact that I'm having this issue and I found a post and a YouTube video about this issue from 2 years ago, that's not a good look, you know. That doesn't bode well for them. Or for anyone using OBS. And people need to be aware of that. Yeah, 2 years. I know, it's sad, isn't it? And as far as I could tell, there was no real response from the devs on it either, so... But, I'll do what I can. I'll make a post, put all the info in there, and if I get shitty responses that don't take responsibility for the issue and just blame other things, then at least I know to start looking at other software options or other setups that doesn't involve OBS. I did find another post about what sounded like the same issue, and I sort of wrote quite a long post about my experiences of it. And I don't know if it was a dev, but it was like quite an active member of the OBS project forums. Basically admitted to just ignoring my message just because it didn't have a log file attached. He just said, yeah, I didn't even read your post because it didn't have a log file on it. The stupid thing about that is there's almost no point attaching a log file because I've tried basically every different setting under the sun. So it's like, pick a log file, pick any log file if you really want a log file. Because I've got one for every setting set up. You know what I mean? And if you're not going to read about the issue when I'm saying all of these settings don't make a difference just because it doesn't have a log file on it, yeah, that's not a good look. That's really not a good look. I mean, that's up to them, right? If they want to be like that, that's their call, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. In fact, it looks distinctly disrespectful. You know what I mean? fuck you. Fuck you and your out of script behaviour. I still beat you. You little shit. The old original Gyobu training came in clutch there. He just decides not to do the right behaviour, I swear, about 40% of the time. So that script is definitely far from foolproof. Still, we got him. At least read the post, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I noticed that this guy had posted what sounded like the same issue that I was having. And I noticed it had been almost 2 weeks. I think it was 12 days old, this post. So another reason for me to jump in on it was, well, no one's responded to the guy. But then shortly after I added a post, my long post, that was ignored. The person that did respond, like I say, the active member of the community, basically just said, just noticed a Windows setting that hadn't been set according to what he thinks is the correct way. He said, just said, turn that off. And ignored me. And then I said, okay, maybe I'll make a new post of my own. But by the way, I tried that setting as well as many others, and it didn't make a difference. And then, there hasn't been anything on it since. So either the original poster has given up, or he resolved it himself, or, maybe just stopped trying to use OBS. I wouldn't blame him. But yeah, it doesn't look good for OBS so far. Not gonna lie. But you get a lot of that in the tech support community for technical issues in computing. I know it from when I worked in IT support. You have teams, you have first line, second line, third line, network teams, Every single team wants to shirk responsibility and say, oh, that's not our problem, it's something to do with that team, and they'll pass the issue on because they don't want to look into it. So a lot of the activity is trying to avoid work rather than finding it interesting and trying to resolve it. And it seems to be the same thing with OBS people so far. It's like, oh, it's a Windows setting issue, or it's like your hardware, or it's, It's like, well, it really looks like your software, to be fair. Because a lot of people with different hardware and very good hardware that really shouldn't be having an issue with streaming are having this issue. Yeah. So it just looks like similar behaviour, like not wanting to take responsibility for an issue. Just not wanting to investigate it. And I don't get it, it's like, if you're in that line of work and you're interested in software, show it, right? Show interest, because it's interesting, it's actually quite interesting, it's actually quite fun to resolve these issues, if you're interested. And if you're not interested, do something else. Don't pretend to be part of a software project when you're not. Or when you shouldn't be, clearly, because you're clearly not interested. You know what I mean? Go and do something else. Stop pretending to be part of this project or community when all you want to do is say it's not your problem. I mean, what are you doing? That's a waste of your time, that's a waste of our time, that's a waste of everyone's time. I don't understand what your play is here, what your angle is, what you actually want out of this. You know what I mean? It's like, It's fine. It's absolutely fine if you're not interested. If you don't want to develop the software, if you just want to, you know, say it's not your problem, that's fine. Go and do something else. But don't hang around pretending to be, you know, part of it when you don't want to be. Because that's just bad for everybody. It's bad for you, it's bad for everyone else. It's bad for the project. I just don't get it. It's just so dumb. But, you know, society breeds humans to be dumb, so what do you expect, right? Society breeds dumb behavior. So you're gonna get dumb behavior. Another reason to change the world, Crunchy. Yeah, I know I got hit to bull. By the way, I did notice. But I also don't really care right now. I'll read that in a sec. Yeah, on the death blow, I went for a risky finish and got hit, like at the same time as I finished Bull off, because I was yapping and not really paying attention, playing my usual unnecessarily risky playstyle. There's a problem with my Wi-Fi, so explaining the issue to them. Instead of helping, they told me to contact a higher up who could assist, something they could have told me earlier. When I finally spoke to the higher up, they said they would send someone to fix it. However, they claimed the issue was with our devices. Yeah, that's always the first port of call. Even though all of them were working perfectly fine, and they kept avoiding helping us. Yeah, that's pretty typical behaviour. The point is, they were clearly trying to avoid doing their job by passing responsibility to someone else, yeah. Then when they finally addressed the issue, they blamed our devices instead of admitting that the problem was on their end. Yeah, that's exactly the standard behavior in tech support. Yeah. To be fair, when you deal with a lot of issues, because I know this having worked in tech support, more often than not, it is the user's problem. So I can understand how, after a long period of time where most of the time it is on the user end, it's easy to assume it's on the user's end, if you know what I mean, rather than assuming it's something for you to resolve at your end. But if you're interested and good at your job, it's pretty easy, it's pretty quick and easy to go through the checks to see if it is at the user end, and then quickly and efficiently start resolving the issue at your end when it's discovered to be not at the user end, if you see what I mean. It doesn't take long or much effort to check whether it's at the user end. So it really is a symptom of someone shirking responsibility or not really wanting to do their job if they just keep assuming it's at the user end instead of checking whether it is and then investigating more thoroughly, which is their job, So I'm certainly not defending that behavior. I'm just sort of highlighting where it comes from, or where it can easily come from, because a lot of the time it is the user's problem. But it's very simple. Like when I was working in IT, I would, the first thing to do would be like, okay, well, have you rebooted? Turn it off and on again. That's always the first thing to try. Often resolves a lot of issues. But it really doesn't take long to go through the checks to see if it is at the user end. The problem is when people just clearly use it as an excuse to not investigate an issue that otherwise would be actually very interesting and help develop the system into a more robust system where that issue doesn't occur again. And I fear, like with most things, that's where OBS devs and OBS community is at the moment. It's like any stuttering issues, they just exhaustively and they exhaust people by saying try all these things and don't listen to the users when they say immediately, when raising an issue, before you suggest trying these settings, I've tried them all and they haven't helped. Okay, they'll just like immediately not believe you, which sucks. So when I do write a post on there, I'll be like, okay, look, I've tried pretty much every combination of settings I can try. If you really want a log file, I'll send you one, but any setting that's on there that you think maybe should be off, just assume that there's another log file from the past where it was off and I still have this issue, so that we can actually skip all of this time wasting and look into the issue, properly. What did I die to? Bull. Let's have a little bull. A little bull and a genie. Three months. Wait, it took them 3 months to say that it was your fault. That, I mean, in fairness, that should only take a minute. Like, a minute. But if it's your general internet, like, the first thing to check for you guys is take Wi-Fi out of the equation, plug in an Ethernet cable, and then see what speed you get. That's the first thing to do. If it's internet speed related, try an Ethernet cable. Yeah, and if you get lower speed than you should be on Ethernet, then generally it'll be their problem, especially if they provide the router. If they provide the router, it's like, okay, it's your equipment, it's your setup, I'm getting this speed, and I should be on this speed with Ethernet as well as Wi-Fi. Then it's easy GG, definitely their fault, you know what I mean? Especially if it happens on multiple devices. Multiple devices and on Ethernet and Wi-Fi. Definitely their fault. I had a long conversation with my ISP initially because I was getting the advertised down speed of a gigabit, well, basically 940 meg, but my upstream was sometimes 600, sometimes 100, sometimes even 50, and that should be the same. It should be not like almost a gig as well. And it did take kind of a long conversation to finally get to the bottom of the issue when he finally admitted that there was some data center migration going on at their end that would have been the cause of my occasional dropouts and my lack of upstream speed. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. So it's going to be resolved in a month. I can wait a month, no problem. And then I had the migration done, and I noticed more consistent higher speeds on the upstream, but that also introduced another issue, which was an IPv6 and v4 issue, where if I was advertising an IPv6 address, it would use a different routing and different network that would be much slower and would not access other things that needed IPv4. And I was waiting for ages for that one, and then I spoke to someone else in the support team, and he kind of identified that it might have been that issue. He turned off IPv6 advertisement on my router, so it just used IPv4, and then immediately I could connect to many more servers, and different addresses that weren't working started working. You know, it felt good again. But the guy before obviously didn't know anything about that, so I left it with him for like 2-3 weeks and nothing happened. So. But now I'm kind of happy with my internet, even though I'm having to leave IPv6 off on the router. And initially it kind of stopped a certain thing working, like access to one of my new bank accounts, which I think because it's a new company and a new app or whatever, it was clearly needing IPv6. So then I turned IPv6 on and I could access it, and then the other things stopped working again. But then when I turned IPv6 off again, that service kept working and everything else came back. So now I'm not touching it because at the moment I can access everything and everything's fast and everything's stable and it hasn't dropped at all. And so fingers crossed that'll keep going. But at least I know if I can't access something, I just click on IPv6, access it, and then click off IPv6 again. It's kind of a little workaround. And it's to do with the kind of slightly strange routing on their networks. But it is a cheaper provider, to be fair. But I was more concerned about it because it's a 2-year contract, which is quite a long time to be like stuck in a contract. Basically, I can't, if I leave them now that I've gone after the first month, I have to pay for the full 2 years, even if I leave them. So I'm kind of stuck with them, but it's alright at the moment. So my internet's been, since that issue has been resolved and the data center migration was done, it's been flawless for the past couple of weeks. So happy enough for now. And it is sweet, it's the first time I've had gigabit internet, like fibre to the property, because when I last lived here, there wasn't like fibre to the premises available because the companies hadn't laid it down this particular street just because of where it is and stuff. So I was concerned for a while I wasn't living here, that this property would never have like really good fibre connection availability. But thankfully at some point they did lay it, and now I have fibre straight into the house, which is cool. And access to a lot of providers. There are far too many providers. This is another thing that's wrong with the world. Just like literally hundreds of providers to choose from, all with their slightly different like pricing and offerings, and it's just like, mate, just why don't all of you just fucking get together, right, and form a consortium and make broadband as good as you possibly can for as many people as you possibly can. And if you're not interested in doing that, you go and do something else. And if you are interested in doing it, you keep doing it. Like, that makes way more sense than having 100 different companies all trying to compete with different products and different pricing at different times, fighting for different customer bases. And just fucking stop it. It's insane. Like, don't you see how stupid that is? If you're interested in providing broadband, do that. All of you, work together. Make it as good as it possibly can be. And stop competing with each other for different customer bases, because it's just a complete waste of humanity. God damn it. You know what I mean? That's the fucking capitalist market, like, gone completely haywire. You know? And it's the same with any industry. It's like, look, if you really care about making the world a better place by providing whatever service you're providing or making whatever product you're making, work together to make it as good as it can be with like-minded people who are similarly interested in making it as good as it can be, and stop competing with each other for money, you fucking retards. It's not helping anything. It's just a waste of everyone's time. I mean, what a stupid thing to be focused on. Fucking money, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. What a dumb concept. I appear to be dead. That's one thing you gotta watch out with Genie. If you're up against a wall and he does a thrust and you try to Mikiri counter, sometimes it just won't work because of the camera angle. Even if you time it perfectly, it just won't work. That's what happened there. The world, man, it doesn't work in mysterious ways. It works in dumbass, stupid, motherfucking retarded ways. And it's obvious and plain to see if you just stop and think about things for a second. Just for a second. Anyone with any sort of brain at all would like have to agree with that logic. You know? It's not an opinion, it's just a fact. It's a complete waste of time. Rah rah rah, rant rant rant. Streamer goes off on a rant and can't play Sekiro anymore. Again. OBS devs, you listening? If you're not interested in making OBS as good as it possibly can be, stop being involved in OBS. Just stop it. Go and do something else. Stop living a lie. 95% of humanity live a lie, Crunchy. Live a complete fucking lie. And they wonder where mental health issues and depression comes from? I'll tell you, it's because you're living a fucking lie. And you don't even realise it. That's where all your problems stem from. Okay? Okay. I think I'm done. I'm never done. Who am I kidding? I'm never going to be done until the world makes sense, dude. For the sake of me and every other human being and every other instance of life on Earth, right? Because what the fuck else are we doing with our time? If we're not trying to improve things for everybody. I'll tell you what we're doing. We're playing with money and we're consuming for our own selfish comfort. What a waste of time. Yeah. Can't get away with that, clearly. Almost did, though. Ghibli trend? Like, as in Studio Ghibli? I like the movies that I've watched, like Howl's Moving Castle and forget the name of the other ones. Secret, Silent, something. It's been ages since I watched any, to be fair. Oh, if you're talking about copyright, I got plenty of views on that for you. No, what's it called? Silence. Is it Silent? It begins with an S, I think. It's like one of their best known movies. The There's Howl Moving Castle and there's something beginning with S. I'm pretty sure it's S. Oh god, what's it called? Hang on. Studio Ghibli movies. Spirited Away. I knew it began with S. Spirited Away. I've got some general views on copyright and stuff like that for you though. Spirited Away, yeah. I mean, if you like Studio Ghibli movies, it's a good one. I haven't watched them for ages, but yeah. I definitely watched it more than once back in the day. Copying art styles, copying. Okay, so the only reason people care about people copying content is generally through selfish reasons of I should be earning money from this, so I'm going to apply copyright laws and rules to it and sue people if they try to steal my ideas, because in stealing my ideas they're making money that I should be getting. The other perspective is people trying to steal credit for a novel idea, which again is kind of selfish, but I do understand that. Like, if you've come up with a novel idea and someone tries to pass it off as their own without crediting you as the inspiration and the original creator, that's just bad behavior on the part of the person trying to pass off your original idea as their own. So I do understand that, absolutely. And there's a simple solution to that. A, take money out of the equation so that people don't try to steal other ideas or, quotes, intellectual property to make money. Because if money didn't exist, people wouldn't do that for money. And then you're just left with the more simple case of if someone does have a novel idea, you know, it's just naturally credited to them as the original founder of that idea. And then anyone else trying to say, this is my idea, I came up with it. A, that would probably not happen anymore when there's no money involved to be made out of it. And B, if it does still happen, say in the 3% of the human population that are psychopaths and someone just wants to do that to be mean, there's a fairly simple solution to that, is when there is a novel idea, you just have an online database of information readily available on the internet. And then if someone comes up with a novel idea, their name is automatically on it. And, you know, if they really care about taking credit and care about defending their position as the originator of that idea, there's some information to point out and say, look, you're saying you came up with this in 2030, but I came up with it in 2028. So stop being a prick. And then if someone does try to do that, and there's no money involved anymore because we've taken money out of the equation, remember, then they're highlighted for that behavior, then through similar online readily available information, that person will constantly be flagged as someone who tries to steal other people's ideas, and a lot of people won't want to play with them anymore. You know what I mean? They're straight up just copying Miyazaki's hard work. Yeah, but why would they be there? Probably for money, right? And if everyone knows they're copying Miyazaki, then everyone knows they're just trying to copy Miyazaki. You know, you can't say, look, no one's allowed to be a prick. What trend though? What I don't know. I don't really know about this particular issue. People are bypassing all the effort generating images with AI, following a trend without understanding the deep work behind it. It feels disrespectful to reduce such incredible artists. Yeah, well, that, like I say, that comes to the second point, right? Like, some people, inevitably, with 8 billion people on the planet, are going to behave badly for whatever reason. But the first biggest thing to do is to mitigate that behavior, and the best way to mitigate that behavior is to stop rewarding it. And the best way to do that is to take money out of the equation. And then we'll see how many people still do that stuff. Because if they still do that stuff when they can't earn power from it, and power being money, then there's something seriously wrong with them, and we can offer those people help. And if they still behave badly, I mean, everyone just knows that they're behaving badly and no one will want to play with them anymore. And yeah, they're doing it for fame and views, which is money, right? They're doing it for money, and if they're getting money from it, they'll keep doing it. That's what I'm saying. An easy solution is stop rewarding that behavior, take money out of the equation. It's like misinformation on the internet, right? There's so much bullshit on the internet that's there to gain clicks, to gain ad revenue for the people that make it to gain money. You take money out of the equation, I bet you most of that misinformation will disappear because there'll be no more reason for it. And if there is still misinformation, someone's actually doing it out of pure spite or evil reasons, then it will be highlighted as such. And those people involved in that will be black flagged or whatever it is, and everyone will know it. The point is, though, they won't be being rewarded for that behavior. If they do that behavior, they will be receiving the opposite of a reward. You know, they'll be punished for it because people will stop listening to them, people will stop playing with them, people will stop interacting with them. It's like politicians that lie, right? They're only lying for their careers, for their power, for their money, because they're being rewarded to lie. Right? If you take away that system that rewards lying, then we can punish liars in ways that make sense. If someone's a proven liar, then no one will listen to them anymore. So why would people lie? If people lie, not only will they not gain any money or power or prestige or fame for it, people will stop listening to those people. So why would they lie? You know what I mean? It's that easy. Just stop rewarding bad behavior. What rewards bad behavior in the world more than anything? the monetary system, the political system. All right? So you have to change the system, and then all of this behavior, or at least most of it, will just disappear because there'll be no reason for it. If anyone still behaves that way, they're just going to get punished for it. So why would they? There's no reason to. There's not only no reason to, there's a lot of reason not to. Because if they don't behave badly, then they're not going to be punished. And if they behave well, they'll be rewarded. You know what I mean? Like, it is that simple. It is that simple. It really is that simple. But that's why I'm here, Crunchy. To point this out to people so that they realise it. And the more people that realise it, we just need more people to realise it and get together and say, okay, well, we're not going to have this monetary and political system anymore because it rewards bad behaviour and that's stupid. And that's bad for everybody. All it takes is for people to decide not to do that anymore. You know, you get 70% of the world going, yeah, we don't like this, and then start doing something else. Most of the other 30% will say, actually, that's a good point. Let's do this as well. And then if there are 5% left who are just evil pricks that want to mess up things, then you've got 95% of the population not listening to them and punishing them. It's that easy, right? It's that easy. That's why we're here, Crunchy. That's what we've got to focus on for the rest of our lives, because as long as we don't, we're part of the problem. And it only takes a decision to instead be part of the solution and stop subscribing to the stupid system that rewards bad behavior, that makes everyone's lives worse than they otherwise would be. Literally everyone, even the richest to the poorest, everyone's lives will be better with a better system that doesn't reward bad behavior. That's it. So the task, now that we have the internet and we can connect most of the human beings on the planet together to have meaningful conversation, the first task is to point out that that is the root cause of most of our issues and start having conversations to align our activity into a better way, into a way that makes more sense. And it starts with a simple decision, right? We don't like this system that's rewarding bad behavior. Let's discuss ways to act that's different, that rewards good behavior instead and punishes bad behavior. Only then, with that realization, will people say, actually, we don't need money. Money actually doesn't exist. Money is just a collective belief system that gives power to people based on a number next to their name. And it has no bearing on reality, and we can change it like that with a simple decision. And all that takes is enough people to agree to that. That's it. And that's where the only way I can see that happening is through an internet-based global democracy. And a real democracy, not the democracies that we think are democracies, where we vote every 5 years for a leader to make all of our decisions for us. That's not democracy at all. Democracy is ongoing discourse amongst the people to decide what to do next and how to improve our lives. And that is ongoing all the time. Everyone is involved as they want to be, constantly reviewing things and improving things. And with the internet and our technology that we have these days, that is, it's just an inevitability waiting to happen because we have the means to do that now. Whereas we didn't before. 100 years ago, we couldn't be having this conversation, me in Britain and you in India. You couldn't have a global connected humanity because there wasn't one. The only information we had access to was through newspapers and education in our own little communities and countries. But now, now we can connect everybody and do things differently if we decide to. We just need to realize that and then start working towards it. Then the rest will just happen because we'll be on our way, you know? Humanity at the moment is just in this strange limbo state of like being caught between archaic thinking of deferring responsibility to kings and queens and not taking our own responsibility and realizing that we all have power to change the world. And the new world with this internet that connects us all, that gives us the means to work together to make the world a better place without deferring all of our responsibility and our power to a few people at the top, which will inevitably corrupt people. Because if you make someone the leader of the world, whatever idea they have, they think it's the best idea for everyone, even if it's not. And everyone has to listen to them because that's what everyone's agreed upon. And then you're in all sorts of trouble because one person doesn't know about engineering and rocket science and how to build like roads properly and what people need in this country and in that community and how to improve life for everybody, because no one person has that much knowledge and expertise that would ever justify that much power in one person's hands. And like I said before, if anyone made me the leader of the world, the first thing I would do is to step down as leader of the world and make everyone responsible collectively for what we do next. Don't listen to me, because if everyone listens to me, I'm going to be corrupted by that amount of power. Trust me. And that's not going to be good for me, and it's not going to be good for everyone. So the first thing I would do is, right, anyone interested in food production, go and do that. Work together. Make it as good as you possibly can. Anyone interested in organizing where people live, like, go and do that. Everyone interested in science, go and do that. And if you want to listen to anyone as an authority figure on these things, listen to the person that knows the most about that stuff and is there for the right reasons, i.e. they're most interested and most passionate about it, and they're not there for money. They are there to do as well as they can. And if they stop listening to people and say it's my way or the highway, get rid of them, because they've been corrupted by power. It's that easy. Go and organise yourselves. I'll help organise if you want, but don't come to me like asking for answers on everything, because then that gives me way too much power. Way too much power. And I certainly don't know enough about a lot of things in the world to be telling you what to do or what the best way forward is in that particular endeavour. You know? And anyone pretends that they do know everything in order to be the authority figure on everything, I order you to not listen to them anymore. How about that? And that includes me. Although, listen to me on that point, because that's important. Question everything and go and be the best person you possibly can be, doing whatever you really want to do that helps people and helps improve your life and everyone else's, and helps us move away from ridiculous warring, infighting and division and towards a united humanity that can explore the universe and reality together in peace forever. And then we can make different enemies, like, shit, we're running out of this resource, what should we do? Or, shit, we can't get to that asteroid to mine that mineral that'll help us do this. How do we resolve that? You know what I mean? They're real issues for people to deal with. Not like, oh, I wonder who's going to be the next Prime Minister in 5 years and whether they're going to cut our taxes or not so that I can afford bigger TVs and faster cars and maybe move house and upgrade my life a bit. Like, stop wasting your life. That's all meaningless shit, trust me. It isn't going to make you happy. Alright, food for thought. And now I'm off because it's already well after midday. GG's. Good rant. Thanks for listening to me. At least someone was listening to me. And maybe we'll be in a position where more and more people can take this stuff on board and realise the truth behind their lives and actually start wanting to make the world a better place and their own lives a better place. Literally, it will improve everything for everyone. And then we can start moving forward. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you being there. At least there's one person out there so far, and we just needed to start with one, and then we can grow from there, right? Exactly. One day we'll have that community. And you're studying computer science, so what you can make your project is right. We need to make a computer system that connects people democratically and allows us to vote on stuff and have meaningful conversations. And maybe we can use AI to analyze people's posts and thoughts and views on this system and congregate things into, okay, this is a major priority for humanity because a lot of people seem to be struggling with this. And then highlight issues that then we can help prioritize things, you know, that sort of thing. Maybe. Just a suggestion. Alright, I'm out of here. GG's. I will be back tomorrow, as usual. Hopefully a little bit earlier. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care. Much love. And I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.